Hello, well, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. This is Ryan Flanagan with MyRepMgr. Just want to make sure, can everyone hear me okay and see my screen? If I could just get a yes in the chat box from everyone, that would be great. Roger says yes. Fantastic. Okay. Good to go. Well, fantastic. Today we are going to talk about the annual listing service. And basically, as you can see, got the solar system here. And, what we're going to talk about is really trying to focus in and hone in on really reaching for the stars with the annual listing service. And, there's a lot of information out there. And I know that it gets complicated with everything that's out there. And we want to make sure that we provide as much information to really help you all get to where you need to be and where you want to be. And that's reaching for the stars. I mean, that's going all in. So that's kind of how I wanted to tie in this picture of the solar system into our presentation. I'm going to do everything I can to make it fun, but also where we can learn a lot about our concepts and our tools that we're working with day to day through MyRepMgr as well. So that said, let's kind of go to some housekeeping things real quick, and we'll go ahead and get started. And I respect your time, so I want to make sure that we try to keep this in within 30 to 45 minutes today. If we go a little over, that's fine. Basically, I am going to go ahead and get this recorded as well, and we're going to place it in the training area of the site under the training video library, and I will send out an email to each of you and to the additional MyRepMgr resellers as well, sharing the link to this video once we get it put up. I also asked that any questions that you have, I encourage them, of course, but just want to make sure that we hold off until the end of the presentation, and I will do my best to answer all of them in full. If there are any that I'm not able to answer, I'll make sure that I get those cleared up for you and get that back to everyone else as well as you through email, and we'll get that done. So also within the presentation, we're going to watch a short video from Lori Willems, and she's actually one of the development specialists with Vendasta herself, and she's going to go ahead and share some additional insights on the tool as well. So this is going to talk about Presence Builder. We're going to focus more heavily on the annual listing service. But if you have questions about the landing pages and the actual on that side of the Presence Builder tool, we can certainly review that as well. Before I get started, let me just make sure. Oh, okay, I'm just checking for any questions. So far, everyone can hear me still. That's great. Okay. Go ahead now and switch over. So why is it important to be listed everywhere? Can I get any feedback from anyone on that? Why would it be important? Why is it important to be listed everywhere online? Feel free to respond back if you like. Let's see here. All right. Well, it is important for several reasons. And go here now. Bear with me just a minute. Oh, we've got a response. Yes, Roger, correct. Don't know who's going to find you in SEO. Absolutely right. And basically, what we're looking at is it's not just increased online visibility, but you have to have high accuracy and in combination with a 5-star reputation. And that's really how you equate more revenue to your business. Because if you just have high online visibility with no real focus on the accuracy of those listings, we're going to see that it's going to be potentially more detrimental and worse than just not having enough listings in the first place. So with that, let me show you an example. And so this was taken actually from a slide from Vendasta. It was one of George Leith's presentations. And basically what this shows, and I'm going to read these listings for you if it's a little hard to see, but basically what this looks like is, let's say we did a search for Wilkinson's Family Restaurant, and Wilkinson's is based out of Seattle, and they have one location. So what we've done is we've clicked search, and now we've got 4 individual listings with all of them of which have different addresses, different contact information. So, if we were a customer looking for this restaurant, what would we do? I would guarantee you that 9 times out of 10, we're just going to be like, well, they don't have their act together. I don't know which one is which. And really, what this does is it becomes a nightmare for that prospective customer, and they're just going to go somewhere else. No one's going to have time to do the research on this. They want it to be extremely easy and basically spoon fed to them, because I mean that's what this is all about. Is they are assuming that the business already has it together, and this kind of first impression is just not going to do it. So we move forward. So why does this complicate matters for the consumer, and it's detrimental for the business? Like we said, inaccurate listings are as bad, and in some cases worse, as not being visible on online sources at all. In fact, actually, I found that 75% of consumers agree that inaccurate listings reflect poorly on the brand. And, as customers, we all don't really want to take the time to figure it out. We just want it to be right there and very easy for us to get on the phone or find out, via GPS or Google Maps where that location is without having to go through guesswork. So that's why it's so critical that every single business, and even if they have good visibility and pretty solid accuracy, I mean, this is a great opportunity to help educate them and share with them that, SEO too, it's not just about AdWords. I mean, AdWords is a key component of SEO, but you need to have accurate listings, because on a lot of those listing sites, you're going to have a lot of opportunities where your website needs to be on those listings, and that actually directs a lot of traffic from third-party properties online. So that is very essential in communicating that to them. That it really takes a comprehensive strategy there, and a lot of business owners, you'd be surprised, really don't have any idea how visible and how accurate they are with their listings online in the first place. So this tool, we're going to talk a little bit more about showing them the power of this tool and how they can measure their ROI through the active reputation intelligence dashboard, and actually making it more of a conjunction, basically like a package opportunity, where I really want you guys to start thinking about the opportunity to present your prospective client with not just the reputation intelligence dashboard, but the annual listing service as well. And I'm going to show you a little bit more about how that goes as we continue on. So let's learn a little bit more. I basically wanted to kind of display this out, and I mean, we've seen this kind of situation before, where let's say there's real low reputation type company, but they're just all over the place. They're constantly sending you spam. They're constantly sending you flyers in the mail and that kind of thing. But they've just really got a low reputation. Well, that on this trajectory field, this XY axis, is really more. I mean, that basically means it's a scam. I mean, they're just getting out there, and they don't care about reputation. On the other spectrum, however, on the other side of the spectrum, if you've got a 5-star reputation and they have no visibility, then that's a shame, right? And really what we want to do as, consultants in reputation intelligence is we want to help them and educate them to get that winning reputation. That's where they've got a 5-star reputation, but they're also very visible and have accurate listings online. And so that's what we're aiming for. And this graph kind of shows you exactly that sweet spot that we're going to help them with through the active annual distribution service that we're talking about today. So From Lori. So let's go ahead.
Good morning and welcome to our webinar. My name is Lori Willems and I am an account executive here at Vendasta. Today we're going to be talking about listing distribution. So at Vendasta here, we have now released listing distribution to help partners improve and scale their digital presence services for local businesses. As you probably know, and if you haven't heard about listing distribution already, please contact your AE here at Vendasta, and my contact information will be on at the end of the slideshow, so if you're unsure who to call, you can email or phone me and I'll pass you on to the right person. So in the U.S., the four major data providers that power the web, which are Neustar, Localese, Acxiom, Infogroup, and Factual. Over 300 major search site query these providers for their information, including search engines, online directories, navigation systems, and more. If these data providers have incorrect listing information, which is your name, address, phone number, or any other details, those errors will be disseminated all over the web, causing poor search ranking as well as loss of customers and revenue. Recent studies have shown that customers lose trust in a brand when their listing information is incorrect. And that's especially important when it comes to location. If a customer is going to drive up to a location that's incorrectly listed on their mobile device as they're going there, and they drive up to an empty place, chances are good that you've pretty much lost them as a customer. They're not going to go looking. So try to keep business listings accurate by manually entering information is very tedious and time-consuming. Listing distribution is economical, easy to use, and makes accurate listing data available to potentially hundreds of online directories and listing sites, which is key for a good local search rank and overall reach. Listing distribution sends accurate data to all four data providers, helping correct business information on existing listings, and create new listings where they don't exist. So using listing distribution as part of Vendasta's Presence Builder will also include location pages, which optimize business pages with key business contact information, such as your name, address, phone number, and hours of operation. And these are easily crawlable for search engines. So with listing distribution, this provides a robust local SEO package for you. As I said, these four data providers will get queries from over 300 different sources and counting, and each day more and more are added. So you may not need to be found on all 309, but you may need to be found on 100 of them. So we did a case study with one of our major partners, and this partner has over 150 locations worldwide. And while they pride themselves on not changing that which has made them famous in the last 60 years, things have changed over those 60 years, namely the digital landscape. It is imperative that customers can find them easily and find them everywhere that they'd be searched. So listing sites get their information from a number of different sources, which are government institutions, tax records, and user-generated content. However, the most weighted sources are the four major data providers. Each listing site also queries these sources at different times during the year. For this reason, we run listing distribution as an annual subscription-based service so that all applicable sites eventually get the correct data regardless of the schedule. So as you sign up for listing distribution, you'll see that your clients' information will be updated and corrected on all these different sites within the year. So we ran preliminary numbers on our partners' 133 locations over a 3-month period. And a quarter of the time, which is a quarter of the time a business receives listing distribution. And these numbers have been analyzed from February 10th, 2014 to May 14th of 2014. So you can see the average number of core listings per business increased by 42%. That's pretty significant when you think about it in terms of revenue. The average number of verified accurate listings increased by 37% in this 3-month time period. And take a look at the average number of citations found since February, 76.10, which is a 133% increase. The listings that were corrected by source, you can see here. And that's quite a number of them, especially when you look at sources like Yelp and Bing Local and Google Plus Local. So the outcome over a 3-month period was 42% increase in the number of business listings, over 76 new citations, that's new listings where your business could be found. Listings were corrected on over 20 sites, and that's just in a quarter of the time listing distribution was running. And all of these numbers aid in local SEO and the ability to be found online. Does anybody have any questions?
All right, so that was very informative from Lori, and what I'm going to do too is make sure that you all have the links on over. If you haven't already gotten to YouTube and looked up Vendasta's channel, there are some additional videos that are going to be great resources for you all to use and watch in relation to Presence Builder and specifically the annual listings distribution service. But like she was saying, I mean, small businesses require consistent business listing data to be accurate on relevant online sources to increase their organic search rankings. So that is something that's a great conversation to have with a lot of business owners that really, I'm sure they may not know that, or they may only think that, once again, it's AdWord related. So and that kind of thing. So it's very important that you share the value of what this brings for them, and also in regards to the time-saving factor. I mean, you could show from that case study that within 3 months, they were able to increase all of those rankings, and for each one of those locations on those directory sites. And typically with 309 directory sites, that's going to take over 300 plus man hours to individually correct those on their own. And what business owner is going to have that kind of time to be able to do that? So that's why this adds so much value right up front for pretty much any business owner. All right, so really the meat and potatoes then is how do we go about selling Presence Builder? And what we're going to do is, once we kind of get through the slideshow, I'm kind of going to go back into the sales tool and just show you some things to keep in mind, and how you can kind of reference especially the ROI of the increase that they're actually going to be able to see of the listings, not just in the repairing of incorrect listings, but in the addition of listings that they didn't actually have before, so long as they are taking advantage of the solution with you. So really what that looks like is that we're going to review the snapshot report with them. We're going to assess both the prospect's locations, current degree of visibility and current degree of accuracy. We're going to explain to that decision maker that inaccurate listings or missing listings are detrimental to organic search, to their brand image. I mean, think about it that way. If they have a lot of locations, and a lot of us are focusing on multi-location businesses, if their listings are incorrect, even if it's just a few locations, I mean, that severely hinders the overall brand perception of that, of that business client. So, I mean, that is something that is a great opportunity to stress as well. And of course, ultimately impact location revenues. Also, let's talk a little bit too about their digital shadow, and especially if they already have strong visibility and accuracy, because what they're gonna potentially tell you is, well, I stay on top of that, or I have a guy for that. and I don't have to really worry about that right now. Well, I think that that's incorrect, and we need to help them understand that with their digital shadow is really information that they may have left behind. And let me show you what I'm talking about here. Let me move forward a little bit here. So really what digital shadow means is that it's online business data that is left behind. So for example, a business location has moved or changed, and what happens is they're no longer currently reflecting the contact information for that business because they have made the move and they haven't switched up that new information. And that can be very tricky with, especially regulars of theirs, like clients that, might not have gotten the news, or if they're regulars and they didn't realize that they moved, that could kind of put a sour taste in some of the clients' mouths, for example. So um, really what this looks like is that we want to explain to our business prospect that even presently accurate and visible businesses always need to be reporting correct contact data to the 4 listing aggregators, especially in the events that business information's change, whether it's phone numbers or addresses or websites. I'm actually working with a heating and air conditioning prospect out in Texas right now, and they recently changed their website URL, and their listings actually don't look too bad. They do need some work on those, but the biggest area that they aren't really paying that much attention to is the website URL, which is kind of amazing and mind-boggling. But what we're doing right now is we're actually in talks with them and showing them through our snapshot tool that that's coming up. It's got a lot of room for improvement, more or less. So it's just even one opportunity like that. I mean, that's affecting their SEO, and if he's actually paying somebody outside to do SEO services and they're not capturing that, then we're already automatically already adding value. These are some key points that and key mistakes that businesses typically make when it's regarding online directory listings. Most of them will do nothing. So let's say when they're just starting their location, just starting their business, they're really on top of it, and as the years pass, they've moved, or they've gotten more locations, and they've changed some information here or there, but they've never kept up with it. And so really what happens here is that your old zombie listings really could haunt them for a really long time. Customers could be calling the old number, like we said, visiting the old address, and potentially concluding that the company may have gone out of business if they haven't actually, or if they weren't successful in finding the relocation information of that business. And a lot of other business owners don't even realize about and know about the 4 major listing distributors. So we provide that service, and really what it looks like is they've got to understand that all of these smaller listing and review site and directory sites all answer to the top 4, those the 4 that Lori mentioned before. And this is how we add value, in that we can take their information and it's a done for them solution. A lot of them also forget to update their social media pages as well. And this is a really big, black hole for some businesses, because Facebook, as we all know, is one of the largest search engines in the world. And a lot of people, in the fact that, so many people come to learn more about a business through their social, their social face to the world, more or less. So it's a very easy fix to fix, but a lot of businesses make the mistake in overlooking that. So let's go ahead and keep going forward. And kind of what I want you guys to start thinking about is, think of reputation intelligence and the solution through that active dashboard, that monitoring, and adding in the presence builder, especially with the annual listing service. Think of it as like peanut butter and jelly, like they have to go together. And what I'm going to do is we're going to talk about in just a minute going through when you're sitting down with your client, you're showing them the 4 major data providers and how that information is aggregated and how they can go back through their active, reputation intelligence dashboard, they're going to see over, a very short amount of time that the overall visibility score will increase. And so definitely leverage that, because that's a great way that they'll be able to see this is working, and it's going to help too with their ability to be noticed much more effectively from many different sources. So just keep that in mind. I would always preface it, and typically when I'm working with a business, I always really gear them and steer them toward understanding the value of fixing their listings really before anything else, because the more visible they are online, the more opportunities and the more accurate those listings are, the more opportunities that they can then start building on in getting more online reviews. And so, it'd kind of be almost like a waste of time if you're trying to get them more reviews, and yet their accuracy and their listing visibility is, 40%, 30%. I mean, really, you're doing more work for yourself at that point. So I always tell them that it's really best to, work on that solution as the paramount solution, as the number one solution, where we're increasing their listings and making them more accurate first, and then we start moving into a building review, and filtering those reviews strategy at that point. Once again, this is a great lucrative opportunity as a reseller, because really you can look at anywhere from $299 to $399 retail that you can charge per location, and that's typically about a fair a fair pricing. Now, obviously, if they have many locations, you might be wanting to look at more of a understanding type of a strategy where if you're, and we can also work with you as well. I mean, Jeff and I, if you're talking to a 100 location business, and they really like this service, but they said $299 is too much. Can you do it for $149? We might be able to work a little bit with you on your wholesale cost, so we can widen your margin a little bit on that. So we just want to make sure you keep that in mind as well. But if you're talking to 3, 4, 6, 7 location business, then that's certainly something where you could look at this kind of range. And just remind them too that it's a done for them solution, and it's an annual thing. Once they get this going, there's no need for them to stop, because they never know if their information is going to need to change. All right, so we've made it. We've reached our star. We went through a lot of information, so I know that I'm sure there's several questions. And what I'll do is I'll answer those, and then what I'd like to do is kind of bounce back over to the sales tool and kind of show you a little bit more about what I'm talking about in relation to integrating the two solutions when you're having your sit down. So, all right, let's see here. So, yes, Jimmy, to maximize sales opportunities. Yep, these are all right. And BJ, we are going to have a replay on the site, on the MyRepMgr training site. So I'll make sure that I get that out to you via email, and give you the information for that as well, so you can follow back up and re-review. In the email I'll send out too, I will send a link to Vendasta's YouTube channel. And in fact, let me show you that real quick, guys, just so that you can see. Let me see, bear with me just a second. Let me go to move this down a bit, because there are at least 3 to 4 videos right off the main page that are fantastic for going through this information. So just you can type in Vendasta YouTube. I've saved it, and there's a wealth of information in there. George Leith runs a few of the videos that they talk about, and they really effectively talk about all of the solutions. So what I like to do is I like to spend time on the side really going through their videos as well, learning as much as I can about each of their solutions. But you've got one here, Presence Builder and the Value of Being Found. There's some additional ones here. And let me see. You really just kind of got to go through and see them. But let's see here. You can also type in Vendasta, annual listing service, and that'll get you right over to it. Let me go ahead now and move over to the sales tool. So I want to show you this real quick. So of course, just making sure that we're all on point. That if when you're getting your snapshots together and you're sitting down with your business prospect and you want to tell them more information about Presence Builder, you go ahead and click the compass icon. And what I typically will do too is I will share the quick overview video with them. It doesn't take too long, but this is kind of where I go to show them the listing distribution content and how we go about making sure that all of this information is correct. And also we can show that we can verify the details, and what will happen is once they go live and they're paying for the service, you'll be able to see if they go from not being found on a particular site or a particular data provider to being found. It's going to provide the date of which that information's been updated because they've set up this service with you. So what will happen is when you do get a prospect that wants to be an active client for the service, we're going to set them up with their own Business Center dashboard login, and we're going to set you as the reseller up with your Business Center login. So you each have respective logins, but you're both going to be able to monitor their account and see over time. So if they have any questions, like when did when was I updated for my business name on Axiom, they'll be able to click, and open it up and see, when it actually was updated in that event. So, and really what I want to show you as well is if you go back to the Reputation Intelligence dashboard, because that's just that the Business Center is going to show them the progress with the 4 major data providers, but it's not going to show them the progress of the individual listing locations and directory sites and review sites. So what I would encourage you to do is have them go to the Listings tab here, and what's going to happen is when they've synced up and started the annual listings service, they're going to start to see their listing score, which is going to start making sure that their listings are found and accurate. They're going to see within a few months, 2-3 months, that this score is going to start going up, and they're going to be able to start seeing that each of these search engines and these review sites and directory sites are going to go from either not being found or have potential errors to being corrected. And that's really where they can go every week, every day, and really see that the return on their investment for paying for that annual listing service. So that's really why it's really a key opportunity to provide the annual listing service in addition as almost like a package opportunity. You might even give them the opportunity to have a better charge by packaging it. So if you price your rep intel at one type of price and you price this at another, but they're interested in both, then you might be able to say, yeah, it's certainly we provide a package opportunity for doing both at the same time. So that could be an incentive for them as well. Let me go ahead and see. Vicky's got a chain of 30 sandwich shops, and she wants to add them to the listing service, but most have a locator added to the name, i.e. 0 sub Birchwood. So, Vicky, to answer your question, if they've got each location, and keep in mind that when you're going, let me go back to the sales tool real quick. When they've got a specific location, when you put in that location's information, and I'm going to show you here, bear with me just a sec, we'll go ahead and move over. So in the business profile, when you're putting in their contact info, this is for one location, for that specific location. So in the company name, if they have a special identifier, whatever you put or whatever they want, the company wants you to put in this section is how they're going to be seen for all of the directory sites. So, that's certainly possible if they want to have that sub identifier in there. And if they don't, then that's fine too, because ultimately it fully depends on however the information is put in on the business center profile itself. So I hope that answered your question. Let me go ahead and just make sure I've got. Let me go back here. Let me see here. Yeah, Vicky, let me know if that answered your question. If not, just send me a support ticket and we can kind of look at it more in depth. And but that's exactly. Is it true that Google is discouraging using identifiers? That is a great question. I will have to get back to you on that. That is a great question. I do not know, so I will find that out and get back to you on it. Let's see here, Jimmy. Let's see here. It's asking, what is the best way to market the service? Do presentations? Is this billed annually or monthly? If the wholesale cost is billed annually. And what you might do is you can give them either the option to bill annually as well to you, or you could do potentially a monthly schedule. So kind of how I've done it is they pay $99 down, so that recoups my cost, and then they pay a slightly inflated monthly rate. So their yearly cost may be $40 or $30 more than what they would have paid. If they paid as a lump sum, right off the bat. But I always make sure I get the $99 down because that covers your costs. So, do presentations. So basically what I would do is go back to the MyRepMgr site and let me show you some resources here that you can use. And in fact, too, I've actually put the links of their case studies on my website as well, and that's fine. Let me go to the MyRepMgr site. Oh, hang on. Bear with me just a second. See if I can get over there. Because what you want to do is in the marketing collateral, if you go down, there's going to be some slide decks and for Presence Builder. And see, not being able to get in, that is interesting. Let me see if they may be working on the site, which is possible. And I'll get that checked out. Let me see here. It's a little trickier to show you, but yeah, what I would do is just go to the training resources tab once you've logged in, and then you're going to go to marketing collateral, and then once you're in that sub menu and you've gone to marketing collateral and you find Presence Builder, there's going to be slide decks. There are going to be the case studies in there as well, and what I'll do is I can put together a separate video once I've got the MyRepMgr site figured out and get that over to you guys, and I'll put that up in an email and kind of show you where you can go to connect links over to your own websites, or print out that marketing collateral. But that's essentially where you would go, and it has a lot of that information about the case studies that Vendasta implemented. It's a lot of what Lori was talking about. They did a case study with Fatburger with the annual listing service. That was a great opportunity for Fatburger to increase their listings. So retail, burger chain, that kind of thing, in that area. And they did some additional case studies and tests as well. So I unfortunately am having difficulties getting to MyRepMgr. I'm not too sure why, but that's where you would go, Jimmy. Basically, marketing the service. Again, let me go back to the yep. Maybe it's just my computer, Roger. I don't know. Maybe I have to do a restart or something, and so I'll have to get back into it and send you all a video. I can send you all a quick video. and a link to navigate that a little bit more in depth. And try it one more time. I'm not really too sure why I'm not getting in. We go to. Yeah, I've been having problems with Firefox as well, so probably just need to do a restart on my computer. Yeah, Jimmy, just marketing it, like I said, it's just where you need to really help them understand that it's going to increase their SEO, especially if they're paying for SEO services. If they're not doing that, then really what it comes down to is, how do they really know what they're getting, the money that they're putting into an SEO strategy, how they know if it's really working. So that's what you got to look at and help them understand that, their digital shadow will follow them, and especially for multi-location businesses, it's going to be that much more complicated for them to keep up with it. So, for each individual location, so this really eases a lot of the time. Sell it as a time saver and an opportunity that's going to drive more traffic to their website, and usually they're going to be pretty receptive to that. So. I hope that answered your question, Jimmy. Like I said, I'll do my best to edit in or add another video that shows kind of where to go in on the MyRep site and get that worked out for you all, so you can see exactly where you got to go. But it is in the training sub-tab under members. Then go to the marketing collateral, and you'll see it right in there. Let's see here. Any other questions? See, is it true that Google is discouraging? Let's see, we answered that one. Do they get monthly reports or view the reports through their dashboard? Jimmy, with the Business Center dashboard that we're going to provide them once you have purchased the service, the $99 amount your cost. Like I said, we're going to set them up, your contact at that location or that business with their own Business Center login that's going to have, if they're one location or if they're purchasing it from multiple locations. Just keep in mind when you go to the store and you purchase, the presence builder, that's for one location. So you'd have to go in and purchase multiple for multiple locations. But they'll be able to then go in and see each location in their Business Center and monitor the progress of their listing accuracy and visibility being increased from the 4 major data providers. What I suggest though is letting them know, and if this is why I said if they've got the the active reputation intelligence system, they'll be able to see it even further and look at the individual listing directory and review sites. And that's really where they're going to see their money, their investment with the annual listing service really pay off. So that's the reason why I would always encourage you to look at both of these really as you got to have one without the other. I mean, it's just, if you're really looking at it from a perspective of helping them maximize the opportunity to help them in their business, that is really what this is all about. So so they're going to have their own dashboard. You're going to have your own login for the dashboard, and you'll be able to manage it effectively together. You can manage it for them, but they will have their own access because we want to make sure that they're able to see it as well. Any other questions? All right. Well, I appreciate y'all's time. We're right at about 45 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and make sure that we'll get this recorded and put it up on the site, and I'll add additionally some of those links to those other videos that talk more about this as well, and where you would also go in the MyRepMgr site once you've logged in for those materials. So thank you all so much. I appreciate your staying with us today, and let me know via support ticket if you have any additional questions after this, and love to get your feedback. And if you have any things that you would like to cover on our next opportunity where we get together next month, feel free to let me know that. All right. Thank you all so much. Have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye. Hello, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. This is Ryan Flanagan, and you may have recently just seen our presentation on the Presence Builder, specifically in the Annual Listings Distribution Service. this is just a follow-up video that I wanted to add to that presentation just to show you a little bit more in the application of how to go about finding the marketing collateral that we talked about. Did have some brief technical difficulties, if you will, on our last webinar, so got that resolved, and now I'm going to go ahead and show you some things in regards to getting that done. So once you log in to the MyRepMgr site, you would just go to members and then just go down to training. And once you go to training, you would go down to marketing and sales collateral. And once you've gotten to that page, just go down to the presence builder area for that part of the site. And you'll see several unbranded slide decks that you can use. Also, I actually printed out some of these listing distribution brochures, and I've actually altered them a little bit to reflect my own branding, but the information is still valuable, it's still usable, and it's a great opportunity to provide lead behinds, if you will, or when you're at networking events and similar functions. It's great to have this information right there at hand to provide to any of your prospective business clients. Another opportunity I was talking about was, linking over the information to the case studies that Vendasta has done on your website. Piton Interactive is my website that I use to market the services of MyRepMgr and several other services. And I actually have a case studies section here. And I've identified the Fatburger study, which is the annual listings automation service that Vendasta provides, and their information from their case study on this business, multi-location business. So, I've added some details and provided a link over to that PDF that is also listed here on the Presence Builder site itself. So, that could be something where you generate traffic over to that if they want to learn more and be able to start a conversation that way. Real quick, too, we did briefly talk about the Vendasta channel. I highly recommend subscribing to that channel. I've got it here in my subscriptions. It's very, very easy to do. Just type in Vendasta here in the YouTube search bar, subscribe to it. And then in relation to the Presence Builder videos, there's 4 really good ones. And I just typed in Presence Builder Vendasta, and you could really see these within an hour and a half, 2 hours tops, and really get a full understanding of what it's about, how to market it, how to position it, and really exactly what we talked about in our training webinar from just a few moments ago. So that should take care of that. And if you have any further questions, feel free to just go back to the support tab here on the MyRepMgr site. It is sticky, so it follows every page on the site. And let me know your feedback from the training exercise, as well as any questions that you may have. And I look forward to our next opportunity together to talk about MyRepMgr and help our local small business and medium-sized businesses really get a handle on their reputation. Thank you so much. We appreciate you and your efforts, and have a great day.